A few things I would like to take your thoughts on. First one is the accusation that Chairman Wontumi was arrested in Rambo style, and that the way in which he was arrested was wrong. Is this unusual for you?
No. It's nothing new. It's not novel. In the sense that when the security agencies, depending on the behavior and the demeanor you put up, you could be invited. Once you are invited and you get there, they tell you you're under arrest. Formally, you're under arrest. They invite you. You can choose to respond to the invitation or not. When you don't respond to the invitation, then they find their own ways and means by which they can arrest you. And once they arrest you, especially in relation to this case, Iyoko, by law, Iyoko officers has the power of police. So once they have power of police, they exercise their mandate just like that of the police when you are under arrest.
You see, so nothing unusual, nothing novel there. But there's also the matter of them saying that he's sick. And I guess they said he wanted to go to Trust Hospital. He's been sent to NIB clinic. And they think that he should have been sent to Trust Hospital. Is this usually the case that when they arrest you, you choose which hospital they should take you?
No. With the experience that I've had, spanning almost 2 decades with the police, the investigative agencies, they have their own way of doing things. So they have their clinic, they have their hospital. So normally they would send you to their clinic. First of all, the infirmary within the premises. When they are not able, then they send you to police hospital. So these are the places that you go. For a client, you cannot choose the hospital and say, this is my preference to the hospital I want to go to. So you cannot choose a private hospital and say, this is where I want to be treated. So they have their own convention. As to the clinic and the hospital, they will choose and they will do. And normally, these are clinic and hospitals working under the security service because they, within their law, they complement each other's office and collaborate. So apart from, I know their clinics and the police hospital, that is where normally they send suspects and accused persons.
And then the other thing, and this is what has led to the minority then walking to the frontage of Iyoko and sitting on the floor, among others. They are also talking about the bail condition, that the bail conditions are onerous. Hash, 50 million, 2 sureties, both must be justified. And Avanyamaki is saying this is an inquiry bail. Iyoko has no authority to ask for justification, and that the 50 million too is too high. Do they have a point? Do they have a case?
I don't think they have a case. You see, Iyoko by law, like I've said, they exercise police power. They are mandated to grant inquiry bail. Now, when they grant inquiry bail to you, and they ask that this is the terms and conditions of the bail, and you believe that it is too harsh, it is onerous, what you do is to negotiate with them because that power that has been given to them is discretionary. They would exercise that power. Now, if you think that what has been imposed on you in the terms and conditions, you go to the court and say that this is the term they've imposed. It is onerous as an ordinary Ghanaian citizen. I won't be able to execute it. So it means that what they are doing is to impose such conditions and terms that will amount to refusal. So we are coming to the court for the court to do. So the appropriate thing they should have done would have been that if we are exercising your discretion and we think that that discretion is harsh, then the opportunity they have is to go to court, and the court would say, looking at the terms, looking at the severity of the offense, looking at it, we will reduce it to this amount. And I think we saw that scenario played in the Drew Boahen case, where they had to go to court, and the court has to slash the terms and conditions or vary the terms and conditions. Now, because it is discretionary power that has been given to the executive director of IOCO, for me, I think the prudent and wisest thing to have done was for the lawyers and even the minority delegation to go and see the IOCO bosses or the director, which I think that they can always have access to if they fall on the majority or any other person, because the politicians are friends, they are colleagues, to go and tell him that this is a man that he will not run away. We think that the bail condition, you can review it. You have that power to vary it. But to go and, allow politics infuse it and have that grandstanding, we are demonstrating, if you don't reduce it, we will be here. I don't think that was, the law has given him that discretion. He's exercised that discretion. It is within the law. If it was illegal, then that's when we could be questioning it. And now it's become like every potential flag bearer of the party wants to be heard, wants to be seen. Once the person who has been put behind bars is in the suffering. So when you are a lawyer or you go for any client such like this, the paramount thing you think is about the person's welfare, not really about the party and the grandstanding within public for them and see that, yes, we are politicking. At the end of the day, it is the person's fundamental lesson that you are thinking of first as a lawyer, his interest. So I think that they should have gone to have negotiations with the executive director and says that we think that the bill, its owners, won't be able to execute it. At least we've gotten one person that we can justify. The other one, if you can take the justification out, and let's have a prominent citizen or a prominent person within society that we know can stand surety, that would come in, so we can substitute such a person with what you are asking for. I think that being reasonable and be fair, the executive director would accede to that. Or you take the steps to go to court and have that condition and terms varied, and to become more reasonable as to how you be able to execute it.
So your advice is what they should have gone for was a respectful, quiet dialogue with the bosses at IOCO.
Exactly. Because no matter what you do, once he's acting within the law, and the law gives him that mandate, he will exercise it. And you see, we should not forget, I've always been telling people and clients that the moment you are invited or arrested by the investigative agencies, the law grants them 48 hours to keep you so that they can interrogate you, do their investigation, take the statement, everything. So when within the 48 hours, you cooperate with them. When they know you're cooperating with them, I'm sure within the next 30 minutes or within some few hours, you cooperate with them, they will leave you. But when they realize you want to suppress information, you don't want to cooperate with them, that's when they will keep you for that 48 hours. And even after that 48 hours, they can decide. The law grants them that if they finish or they haven't even finished investigation, they can go back to court and tell court that we are holding him, we haven't finished with the investigation. We think that if we leave him, he will tamper with some evidence. And the court would grant them that, then keep him for another week or 2 weeks. So for me, the best thing is to, whilst you are the investigative agency, have dialogue with them, judge all with them, and see the terms of condition. And once you cooperate with them, you find. I always tell people that if the security agencies tell you that I have 48 hours to keep you, but if you cooperate with me within the next 1 or 2 hours, you can go home. You think people will not cooperate? They would. But once we want to fuse it with politics because it has political undertones or the person is a political figure, at the end of the day, it is not the party that will suffer, but it is the person who suffers. And that's when we do that, when it comes to politics and sometimes religion, people don't want to reason and see that this is what ought to be done. We think that when we do this in the court of public opinion, we may win and it may arouse what we want to want. But at the end of the day, it's at the expense of the liberty of the person.
Very interesting. Now let's now go to, because whilst they were doing this, the Deputy Attorney General has now made a post that is now making the rounds on social media, giving an idea of the two things that is being held for. As for the charges of fraud, causing financial loss to the states, money laundering, I guess these are charges you've heard over and over again.
Yes. Anytime there is public money or the public money that ought to be used for something is not used, and they look at the fact that it is based on your decision and it was willfulness that came in, that you will now be able to do it, or you spend the money, that issue comes in of financial loss. It's a bit, that is why the operating word is that, was it willful? Did you take the money and did you use it for the purpose, or willfully you did not? That incurred some expenses to the state. So it is a bit broad, but the operating word is willful. The court will have to now determine that what you did, it was willful or it was not willful. Now, I think I've also seen on social media some posts that has brought in the international dimension.
Yes, and I was coming to that. Yes.
And when it comes to international dimension, Yoko belongs to, even in West Africa, all the organized crime institutions in the various countries. It has international dimension that it also cooperates with all the other investigative agencies in the world. So if there are other issues which border on some criminality or criminal activities which has international dimension, I think that may worsen the case. That may be a different case altogether, apart from what domestically we may be saying causing financial loss and money laundering. And for money laundering, they look at money that's passing through your account, the purpose for the money, and how it's being done. People who they suspect to put those money into your account, and that is how you have to come and answer. Because once the money is going through, there is always a suspicious account. That report has to be made by the bank to the agencies. So now this will also bring in financial intelligence center that would come and look at how the money, everything goes to the account. So these are a plethora of issues that may come up. And with the international dimension, he only gave a gist. We don't really know what exactly that is it. And for that reason, he's being kept there. And I'm sure it is because of maybe that the terms and conditions may be a bit high for them. But I think that what they have to do is that if they think they cannot have dialogue with the executive director for Yoko to have an agreement or reason with them, the best option they have is to go to court for the court to vary.
And for the person in there, Chairman Wontumi himself, seeing all this, for some people, this is an encouragement for them not to cooperate with the investigative agencies. Is that what usually happens? That when people see people who are jumping up in support of them like this, they usually feel that, oh, I don't have to mind them, I have people behind me. Will that be a good response if that's what is happening?
You see, once people come in and support and they say it is the party, like you said, I did all things because of the party. If it was right thing that has been done by the party, that is it. But you presume the person to be innocent until he's proven guilty in court. Now, I've always been saying that the party would always be above that we want to sympathize, we want to solidarize, we want to be with you. But when the elements are proven, it is you alone who will go. When they convict you, so definitely issues that has political undertone, from the beginning, people will come, horde of people supporting you, being negative, saying things that they think that it is political. But at the end of the day, it is you, the individual, who will answer. And if you have to go to jail, you go to jail. Unfortunately, I can tell you people who were NDC, the NDC was in opposition, were crying you that, yes, it was political. Whether it was right or wrong at the court that has determined that the position of law was right or not, they went individually until maybe something happened that they may have their liberty restored. So I always say, focus as an individual, look at the charges and prepare your defense. It's not the party that will prepare the defense for you. So if you put your faith in the party will speak for me. It will not be a good strategy. It should be an individual affair. Think about yourself and your family and put a forceful defense to defend your matter. But the political angle and the rest, yes, it's good for the optics, but in the courtroom, it may not help you.
And let me conclude on this note. His lawyer, PAA KWESI, the only time he's spoken about his arrest by Iyoko, he's commended Iyoko for being professional. He's been quiet thus far. Does this complicate his work or makes his work easier? This kind of protest and minority getting involved, does it make his work easier or much more difficult?
You see, within every party or every profession, we have the hawks, we have doubts. I think on this occasion, his lawyer, he understands the law, he knows the law, and he's saying that Iyoko has that mandate to arrest him. So I think that for him, negotiating is the best thing. And as he has said, that they have secured one surety, it is left with the other. I think that I will commend him that as a lawyer, he knows the rudiments of it, what it demands, and how he wants to secure the liberty of his client. That's why I'm saying that people will pretend they know the law, but for the political benefit or advantage of every situation they may get, they want to score that political point to inure to they themselves and what they want to do. So I think as a lawyer, yes, he's been professional and know that Iyoko has the mandate. And even if he wants to go and challenge it in court, does it inure to his benefit and the benefit of his client, looking at the time frame and what can be done through dialogue. If he's able to get to the executive director and his men, and they are able to negotiate, they can always negotiate the bail term. And it is not hard, in fact, that or cast in concrete that this is the bail condition and it cannot be varied. The executive director has power. he has the discretion. And I think that for me, that should be what they should be looking at.
And for the sake of clarity, they said the bill are 50 million, two sureties to be justified. Does that mean that if each of them can prove that they have a property, a landed property, or a building that's worth 25 million, add it up to 50 million, that is enough? Or what exactly are they supposed, or each of them are supposed to have 50 million?
No, not that each of them has 50 million. Even if you have an investment, you can prove that I'll put this my investment in lieu of the bill. That when he's determined not to, that all the bill you are putting is to give assurance that he will be produced anytime the investigation wants to continue. So that is all the essence, that if he runs away, then this your money, we can now attach it by going to court and say that he's not available, we can't find him, and use two sureties for him. So any investment you have, any landed property, if the two of them can give them. Now, the bail condition is not just set out of the whims and caprices of any person. You always look at the facts. You look at what the money involved. Normally, this is what the courts would do. When they look at the amount that the prosecution in their facts will talk about, normally the court would double that amount or give a reasonable amount which will secure. If they are able to prove that that is the amount is involved, that bail should be able to, there should be a balance or balancing out or a break even that we can equally retrieve that amount. That is what, when it comes to setting up the bail terms and conditions. But the law is that you don't do it so excessive that it doesn't become onerous, that an ordinary citizen will not be able to execute that. But however, it involves the amount the prosecution or the facts reveals. That's how the bail condition is set.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
It's always been a pleasure talking to you.
Well, that's lawyer Victor Kojoga Adawudu joining us on the line. He's a private legal practitioner. Like I said, he's done this many times. Most of the times on pro bono basis. At the early stage, it's important you always have a lawyer that helps your case, because investigators can be ruthless. In most cases, depending on how you treat them. If you disrespect them, they will show you the same disrespect and treat you according to how you treat them. So he moves in at that early stage and tries to usually smoothen the grounds between the suspects and then the investigators.
Talk about suspects. This is Justice Ramsai. Suspect Bernard Enchibu Isiaku, aka Chama Wontumi, is under investigation for various criminal offenses, including fraud, causing financial loss to the state, and money laundering. The criminal investigation is running concurrently with asset recovery processes to prevent further dissipation of what law enforcement agencies strongly suspect to be process of crime.
Go to that sentence. Say that they are doing what?
The criminal investigation is running concurrently with asset recovery processes.
Running concurrently with asset recovery processes.
Yes.
Okay.
To prevent further dissipation of what law enforcement agencies strongly suspect to be process of crime. The suspect is also under
dissipation of what they suspect to be proceeds of crime. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, the suspect is also under a second strand of investigation, which is part of a larger international organized crime scheme. The Economic and Organized Crime Office, (EOCO), is assiduously working with our international law enforcement partners on the second strand of criminal investigations.
Very interesting, because I told you a story about how he was paid a little over 50 million by Cocoa Board, Riankra, who was Deputy Chief Executive at Cocoa Board,